Mm.
So, welcome to another series. This is a new month. I'm really, really excited about this series. And this series, I've actually been thinking about this topic when I thought about starting stories and conversations, and I knew I would have to talk about this topic. I would have to bring in guests to talk about this because this is a topic that is still stigmatized, especially in this African society. But we'll talk about it a little bit more and see whether it's still stigmatized. But today I have a very interesting guest. So I've known her for a while now, and we'll talk about how we know each other. But before that, I will allow her to introduce herself and tell us who she is, what she does, what she likes doing, what her passions are. So, June, please go for it.
Thank you so much, Rahel. So my name is June Reeves. I'm a born-again Christian, a mother of one, an 8-year-old beautiful girl. I am also the mother of software quality. So in my profession, I'm in the software quality industry. Mm-hmm. And also the other side, I'm also passionate about mental health and emotional health in general.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's really, really a lot. Yeah. So being a mother,
Yes.
like a real mother, then being a mother of software quality. So what does this entail? Mother of software quality. Maybe tell us just a little bit. What does that entail?
So mother of software quality, I make sure that the systems that are shipped out to the market are of quality. Yeah. So before it's shipped out to the market or to the customers, we make sure there are no bugs or defects that would make the customer angry or they won't be able to do their day-to-day activities. So just making sure the systems work efficiently and effectively and make our customers happy.
Wow, that's really interesting. I know I've been angry a couple of times when some softwares are not working. So I know the people behind it. So that is really interesting. And you said you're a mother of an 8-year-old beautiful lady. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about her, her name, and anything that you'd want to share, what you love, being her mom, and maybe some personality traits that she has that are like yours.
Yeah, so my daughter, she's called Elwa Maitha Karanja. We have the same personality completely. Yeah. I'm a sanguine, she's a sanguine. My energy is off the roof, her energy is off the roof. Yeah. It's amazing being a mom to her. And I think I take my relationship with her very intentional, as in it's very intentional, very seriously. Yeah. She enjoys playing the piano. Yeah. A lot. She loves playing the piano. So that's one of her co-curricular activities. Loves making new friends, love watching. Yeah, I think all children just love watching certain cartoons, especially over the weekend. Loves dancing and also talking a lot. She can really talk. She can really talk.
Yeah. I mean, I've met her a couple of times, and yes, she really likes talking, but she's a really, really interesting girl. And I see the photos you guys normally post on social media, and for sure, you guys look like you have the same personality. So that is a really good thing that you're doing. And I'm really glad that you are intentional with her, because intentional parenting is something that, a lot of parents need to keep on cultivating, because, our kids are our future. So we need to be doing this. And I can't wait to be doing this when I'm a mom myself in the future, hopefully in the near future. So
amen.
So definitely, looking forward to that, especially a little girl. Yeah. I think every girl wants a little girl. So I can't wait to be a mom myself. So you've talked about emotional health and mental health. You're passionate about these two particular topics. But before that, let me first say where we met and, how we've been interacting. So I actually met June at my former workplace. And I remember when she joined the first time, I was like, oh my goodness, okay, this short girl who's the same height as me. And she has a very interesting name, Reeves. So I was like, okay, is she African? Is she married to a white guy? And I was like, obviously, I have to get to know her. I don't know if you remember that first day and what your feelings were on that first day, the people who gravitated towards you. Do you remember that day?
Yes, I do remember that first day. I think that first day I was very nervous. Like when you join a new company, you don't know people. I think I only knew one person, because the person who actually recommended the job to me, we had worked together in a former company. So I only knew her. So I think I do remember the day. I don't really remember meeting you though. I think I was just nervous.
Yeah, I think you met a lot of people, and your name, I think your name is the one that stuck out. But then beyond that, after we got to know each other in the workplace, I mean, we found some things that we had similarities in our personal lives, the things that we have gone through, and we are still trying to navigate, especially this topic of today. So it's really, really an honor for me to have you on the show to talk about this. Thank you so much. Thank you for even being willing to share your story. And, let's just talk about this, and hopefully someone will find healing from this conversation. Hopefully someone will figure out how to navigate through, their mental health issues. So let's get onto it. So mental health, you said mental health and emotional health. Why are you passionate about these two particular topics?
I think it's because I went through a very trying phase last year in 2021. So in 2021, my marriage broke. And when it broke, I completely went under, like completely under. And I had done everything the right way. So I did not expect it to break. But unfortunately, it broke. And my mental health was really affected, to the point I used to get anxiety attacks. Like I would just sit in the house trying to work, and then I get attacks. I had to go to hospital at some point. Was given meds to control the attacks, and also sleeping pills. I remember I wasn't even sleeping during that time. And I started therapy. So I underwent therapy for a while, around 8 months.
Yeah.
So that
go on. Yeah.
Oh, yes. So that's where my passion for mental health and emotional health came in, because right now I'm in a better space, but before that I was really broken. So after I got out of it, not that I've gotten out of it completely, like healing is a journey. It is not like a destination, it's a journey. So by the time I felt better, I was like, no, I need to speak about this more, as in talk to people out there. There's a lot of stigmatization apart from mental health on divorce and separation. So when you're divorced and separated, it's another stigma on top of you going through your own mental issues. So that's why I'm so passionate about that.
Wow, that's really, really interesting. And thanks for sharing that. So you've talked about stigmatization. And I think when I started, I mentioned that this topic is still a stigma in the society, especially in the African society. When you talk to your parents, when you talk to your friends, even at the workplace, when you mention that you have a mental health breakdown, people look at you sideways and they're like, okay, is this girl okay? Is this person okay? Are they losing their mind? Are they meant to be in this space right now? Should they go to, we know that hospital on Thika Road. So should this person be taken to that hospital in Thika Road? And I really don't understand why, because, we're in a different world and things are a little bit different. Things are moving, they're changing every other day. And for you to to be in that space where, things are not going so well for you. And then this happens, because this is an illness like any other. So I don't really understand why it's still stigmatized. I don't know what you think about that.
I think it's because our society, especially the African society, teaches us that we need to be strong, that whatever comes our way, you need to just brush it off and continue with life, which is very, very difficult. Anything that happens to you, any kind of trauma that happens to you affects you first mentally, then it affects you mentally. Now it even comes to you physically. Like you'd find people hospitalized in that hospital because it actually started mentally, then they ignored it, and then now it became a physical thing. So our society being very strict and not recognizing mental health issues is what has actually aggravated this whole thing.
Exactly. And then there's another additional thing on top of all this: religion. People always think that when you're having an illness, any kind of illness, whether it's mental health, whether it's what, the first thing you need to do is pray. And let me tell you, June, I'm also a Christian, and I love praying and I love God so much. And I believe in the power of prayer. But then there is the action after the prayer. Even we are told you need to help yourself. There is the action after the prayer. So like most people actually just stick on that prayer part, especially if you come from a conservative kind of family. People stick to the prayer part and then they leave the other part. They do not seek out help. They do not do anything about it. They think that because God is a wonderful God, he's going to help me or help that particular person and they're going to get better. And it really makes me sad. And that's the thing that I feel like most people need to be aware about. I think even in the religious spaces, people need to start talking about what people need to do when they have all these illnesses, especially mental health illness. Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think even the Bible says faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
Like you can't just, it's like applying for a job. You're asking God for a job and then you don't apply. So you're just seated and you're just waiting for the job to just come your way, for you, someone to just call you and everything just works out. So faith without works is dead. And that is actually true. In the religious spaces, there's a lot of stigmatization because if you have an issue, the first thing you're being told, it's pray. But apart from praying, you need to do something after that. Even maybe when you're praying, ask God, how do I deal with this illness? Whatever I'm suffering from, show me the way on how to deal with it. And that's where now where people, even if you realize when people are going through mental issues, they actually leave church. They no longer go to church. They stop going to church because again, in the church, everything is supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to be married. You're supposed to be working on your relationship. You're supposed to have a job. You're supposed to, everything should be going a certain way. So when you deviate, even a lot of stigma comes from the church. People like, why did things deviate and she's born again and she prayed? And so the stigmatization is a lot, especially from the religious sector. And
it's really sad. So I hope it will change with time and with voices such as yours, and obviously even doing this conversation, I hope it will change because we need to be practical about issues. We need to leave that religious part. I'm not saying you leave it completely, pray, yes, but then you need to be practical and seek out help. So let me ask you, June, after or during this period, and you said you're still going through it, did you get a lot of support from your family, from your friends, from people around you? How has it been navigating through this mental health challenge?
I did. I thank God. I actually did. I had friends who would call me, friends who would visit me, family as well, because my situation was both emotional and physically abusive. So by the time the marriage was breaking, most of my family members actually knew. They knew there was a lot of fighting ongoing. So by the time it was done, they actually really, really supported me and my friends as well. And support is really important when you're going through mental issues. It is really, really important because when you're in that space, you don't even want to shower, you don't want to eat, you want to see no one, you just want to be in your own cocoon, just dealing with yourself. But in that cocoon, that's how you get into depression and it now goes haywire. So if you have friends and family who actually just even show up, even if you do not want them to show up, they just maybe just be there with you. Because I had that people will come to my house, even help me wash dishes, cook for me, and help me with my daughter, and I'm just seated there just looking at them because at that time even can't comprehend a lot. So support is really important.
And I totally agree with you, and very true. And there's something you mentioned about support, having a very strong support system. But then let me tell you, that support system, I think, is one of the best gifts you can ever have. And let me tell you, not everyone has a support system. Some people go through these challenges by themselves. So for me and you, because we had this support system, and for me, it was a very close friend of mine. Like, I love that woman to death. I think I will do anything for her. Like, I used to go to her office and just bawl my eyes out because I was not sure what was going on. I was asking myself all these questions. Why is this happening to me right now? And when you know yourself and you know you're a brilliant person and people know you're brilliant, and then you start breaking down, it's like, something in you is just breaking and you do not know what to do. So a support system is actually very important. And I'm glad we're talking about this because we are actually going to the space of talking about what we need to do to seek out help, to seek out, what is it called? Support to get through these mental health challenges. So you talked about therapy. So let me ask you, in terms of therapy, what is it that maybe someone who's going through this particular challenge should look out for? Do you just go to Google and, look for a therapist and then go to the therapist, because they are on Google? Or how, like for you, June, how did you go through this? Did you seek out someone that you know? Did you go to your religious space and seek out, someone that you think you can trust to share all this? How did you do it?
So the first time when I was in the marriage, I actually seeked out counseling through the church.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that didn't go well. Remember what we were talking about, the religious stigmatization and everything.
Yes.
And I think that didn't go well because during the counseling session, it was more of like, pray, just pray, forgive and pray. As in, you're being beaten up. As in, like, how does that even happen, right? So I did seek that, and I think I was very skeptical about therapy even after the marriage failed. So when the marriage failed, I didn't actually want to do therapy because I already had a bad experience. So through going to the hospital and being diagnosed about these anxiety attacks and all that, recommended for therapy, and I was told, June, you really need therapy, or whatever you're going through will change. I told myself, let me just try it. And I was so fortunate to get a lady, an elderly mom lady who was compassionate, she would listen to me and encourage me so much. So let's say I was fortunate. Not everyone in that aspect. Although right now I've seen changes also in the religious aspect in some churches, though not all churches. I've seen where now counseling is not more of shoving down the God. It's not like we're saying you're putting you aside, but there are other churches who are right now like just focusing on counseling. Like, for example, Nairobi Chapel, counseling is free, and I have tried it. Actually went and tried it like this year. See how it went, and I loved it because it wasn't like God was being shoved down my head. We love God, right?
Yes, so we do.
We need to deal with issues
practically. Yes, practically.
So maybe people who can't afford that would be an option. Apart from that, there's so many therapists, especially online right now, because now mental health, so many people are speaking about it. Even like this forum, it's amazing you're speaking about it. When you go online, there's so many forums where you can actually therapists. On my pages, I have numbers of therapists. On my social media pages, I have so many numbers of therapists because I'm passionate about it. I got to have people who would share their details, their contact details of different therapists, from marriage to all these other therapists, the general therapists as well. So if one really wants to get a therapist, what I would say is that the first 2 sessions will determine if you'll go on with that therapist or not. If you can actually relate with that therapist. For example, the therapist I went to, Normal Hospital, actually Avenue Hospital, where I live in Thika. And the first 2 sessions were amazing. As in, I could connect with her. I would pour out my issues and I could connect with her. Someone else may go to her and not connect with her. And if you're not connecting with the therapist, please look for another one, because they need to be in a level where they can understand what you are also going through.
But I believe that if you have, friends or people who have gone through it, they can actually refer you to, the right people. So always seek out help. Always, never be afraid of telling people around you that this is what you're going through. So you never know when you're speaking about that, what this other person will actually tell you, or how they will, the way you've said, like for me, when I speak about my own story, how it inspires you. So let's not be afraid to speak out. And that's why I'm actually doing this, because I am not afraid to speak out about what I'm going through. And that's why I'm a mental health advocate. And I believe that's why you're a mental health advocate, because you want other people to go through the same healing journey as you're going through, because we should not let this thing overpower us. It should not have power over us, So number 1, therapy. Obviously seek out therapy, and then have a strong support system. I think those are the 2 main things that would help you navigate through a mental health challenge. So another thing that I know is really big right now is mental health challenges within the youth, among the youth. and it's become quite rampant. And I'm hearing stories all over the place about people even taking their own lives. And it's really, really sad. Let me ask you, from your own perspective and what you think, what do you think is making this youth, get into that particular challenge or get into these situations? Why do you think it's that? Because they're different explanations given by different people. People are saying because of the internet. Some people are talking about social issues. But what do you think, as June, and with interacting with the youth and maybe people around you, what do you think the issue is, or why are many youth getting into this particular situation?
It's so many things, Rahel, so many, including the internet. Yeah. So I have a young bro. I live with my younger brother. He's actually turning 24 this year, and I have actually seen him go through that phase. And one of the things, I think when we were growing up, we didn't have that much internet. So I would even say internet is also a factor. The fact that you social media and see all your friends traveling all over the world, you're still seated in the house. People buying clothes, different designer clothes each and every day. You just have the normal clothes that you have all the time.
Yeah.
That pressure. But again, I think I'll take that back to parenting as well. Parents, I think we survived by God's grace. We survived by God's grace. Because even now, the youth right now, I think they also went through the same. But now there's more information. In the information age, there's a lot of information. They're getting in a lot of stuff, right? And if they didn't go through, like, parenting wasn't that strict, they weren't taught about what your values should be, it would affect them to the fact that now pressure would come on them. And then they'll be like, I'm seeing my friends I'm not doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my friends, I'm doing that. Let me take my life. They don't know how to deal with disappointment. They don't know how to deal with action. Yeah, as in they haven't been taught these things, and it's because they don't have specific values. Maybe when they were growing up, they weren't taught about God. Like when you pray fast and then now you see what you need to, they weren't taught about being hardworking. Unfortunately, so they'd rather like be on their phone and just money, ching ching and pesa, or the like they weren't taught these values. So from my perspective, and even interacting with my own brother and other youths, even in church and all that, there's a lot of here, and they don't know how to deal with that pressure. Maybe the internet, maybe their friends in campus or in school and all that, and they don't know, they cow in, and unfortunately they take their life.
Yeah, we call it the microwave generation. Yeah, you want things instantly.
Instant.
Yeah, and I think what we've been talking about, like, when you have, or when you start feeling all these things that, you're not good enough, or you're not getting what you need to get, that's a time, that's like, just, it's like what is it called? Like a light bulb moment that you need to seek help, because sometimes we get it in our heads and we don't know how to figure it out. And that's how the mental health issue starts happening. Yeah. Do you agree with that? Like, that's like when you start thinking about it in your head and you can't figure it out, that's when the mental health issues start.
Especially start getting unmotivated. It's like days, you can't be motivated Monday to Sunday. That's for sure.
Yes.
When you see a pattern, like you're struggling to wake up, you're sleeping too much.
Yes.
As in those feelings of I'm not good enough, you don't believe in yourself, you have written down goals, but you keep on procrastinating forever. Not doing any new things. That's already a light bulb, like what I need to, either I talk to someone, and if you can actually find someone to just pour it out, and then now they can tell you maybe you need to see a therapist. But sometimes when you actually detect it that early, you can deal with it.
Exactly. And you see, like, for most of the youth, and what I've seen even with my own family members, is when these things happen, they go towards other things that they think would address all these issues, like alcohol, drugs and all that. And that's why when these mental health issues start for majority of the youth, you hear they've gotten into addiction to drugs or addiction to alcohol, which is quite unfortunate because it's become such an issue, such a social issue in the society right now. So I hope for people who are watching this particular episode that if you're feeling all these things, if you're feeling like you don't want to wake up, if you're feeling like, you have these goals and you've not been able to do anything, or you're procrastinating, whatever June has talked about in terms of these light bulb moments, like seek help, talk to your friend, and talk to your friend who will give you the right advice, not ati twende kadunda, like we go out and have fun. Someone who will actually talk to you and tell you, this is what I think you need to do. And even your parents, people who are older than you, who have authority over you, can actually speak into your life and tell you, you need to do X and X and X and X. And that's how you will get your life back. And as June mentioned, healing is not a one-time thing. Like, you will not start feeling these things, then you go to a therapist or you have that support system, and then all of a sudden you're okay. No, it's a journey, because it happens. And June, you can maybe hopefully relate to this. Like, one time you're thinking, oh my goodness, I am completely healed. And then next week you get something, an attack or something happens, and you are almost back to that place. Have you experienced that?
Yes. Like, you get a trigger and you're like, what? I thought I was past this.
Exactly. Yeah. And those triggers will come. And that's the thing. That's the reality. Those triggers will come, not once, not twice, not thrice. They will come. But then you have to remember all these coping mechanisms that hopefully the therapist, the psychotherapist will have taught you. And even if you're in a religious space, how to navigate through, these triggers that come, and talking to people around you, talking to friends. Like for me, June, I will talk to you and I'll call you and I'll tell you, these triggers come, what do you think, and all that. So if you have someone who's gone through a similar journey, it's very easy to connect with them and tell them all these things. So as we come to a close, June, what can you tell us about, how to deal with mental health, or, how to seek out mental health help? You've talked about some therapists that so maybe tell us, as we come to a close, what else can we do, or what else can the youth do, or anyone who's going through this particular challenge, what else can they do to navigate through this particular situation and get better and get healthier?
I'll say one, let's continue with these conversations. The more we speak about this, the more the stigmatization reduces. So I'm very sure the first person who started talking about it got a lot of bashing. And right now, I think it has actually reduced. So it has. So let's continue having these conversations. Let's broadcast this everywhere on all social media channels, because all these guys are everywhere, especially the youth. They're on Twitter, they're Facebook, they're on Instagram, they are everywhere. They're not on LinkedIn, unfortunately. Only
they're not. But LinkedIn for the workspace, maybe, because people go through challenges in the workspace.
Yes. But also, as in, let's broadcast this everywhere and continue talking about it. Anyone who's feeling that they're going through this journey, don't be ashamed. It's normal. It is normal. Don't be ashamed, even if everyone around you tells you, kuna kasoro, as in there's something wrong with you. Do not feel ashamed. You are normal. What you just need to do is seek help from the right people, from the right avenue. And whoever is around you that is trying to put you down, move. If you can, move, block, delete everything. Just because you can never heal when you're in negativity. You can never heal. If there's a lot of negativity coming your way, you can never heal. And even if it is in the workplace, and that's why I say that, Rahel, kudos, like you actually identified it and left. So like the same way, when someone is going through this, they actually need to leave that situation of activity of toxicity in order to to become better. So they should not feel ashamed. And also they should not feel ashamed to ask for help. Asking for help is actually a good thing. It actually says that I am suffering and I need to get better.
Exactly.
And when I actually get better, I'll be able to do better. Rahel, in my research the other day, actually was reading that every year we lose, is it $1 trillion because of unproductivity in the world.
Yeah.
World. And most of it contributed to actually mental health, mental illness. Yeah, because like guys don't want to be productive. They just want to, because they're going through a certain thing, they just want to sit, wake up morning to evening, Netflix, drink, drugs, and the day is over, and the years just go like that. But imagine if we were a society, or a society who actually works on us, like we work on ourselves. Realize there's something wrong, we work on ourselves. Yeah, and that we really need to be self-aware that when I'm going, I need help. I can't do it alone. You can't be a superman. You can't be a superman. Even superwoman and superman, they have powers that we don't have.
Yeah.
And their kryptonite would actually make them powerless.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow.
Actually, definitely need to look for support and help, and it is fine to ask for help.
Yes, I totally agree 1,000% with you, and I'll not even add anymore. But there's one thing you've said that has really caught me: get out of those negative situations. And June, I will dare say this: even family. Let me tell you, if you're in a family space that is not working for you, and you feel like there's someone around you who's being negative and is not contributing to your healing, get out. Get out. It can be very debilitating, because family is what you need. Family is, your support. That's your first support system. But then if you're not supportive, get out. Get out. Oh my gosh, June, I really, really loved and enjoyed this conversation. And I know you're going beyond just, speaking about this, and you've actually started an initiative. So what is this initiative? Maybe talk to us about it and tell us how we can reach, if someone wants to reach you, maybe to share, something with you, or to even ask you for advice, how can they reach you? So maybe start with what you're doing to, continue these conversations, or amplify this conversation, and then how someone can reach you.
Yeah, so recently I started an initiative. It's a program called Heal and Hustle. So as I was speaking before, saying about the research I did about the world losing like $1 trillion in loss of unproductivity, which is related mostly to mental health, I thought to myself, so even I looked at myself last year, I did nothing apart from my job. I did nothing. I would just wake up, work, sleep, eat, sleep, do nothing completely. And it's because I was in that state, I couldn't think, as in I was just a mess. I was really broken. But the moment I started my healing journey, that's when I could actually sit down and write goals. Like in 2022, I want to do this. I want to start this new initiative. I want to buy this. I want to do this. I have a couple of goals that I need to deliver. And it was to intentionally walking this healing journey that I was able to start this. And then I also love finances a lot. I've gone through many financial classes, and that is why the initiative called Heal and Hustle. So we would look at what's the trauma that you're going through, or what is making you stagnated, what is making you procrastinate. And then from there, down and see like what can you actually do to make a few coins, because you'd find when people are going through this state, are in a mental space, they are not able to work efficiently, and they're not with their families, as if they also spend money badly. You'd find that that's the reason they have added weight, because they're even eating badly and have bad spending habits. So how do we help you navigate both the healing space and also the hustling space? So that's my initiative.
Yes. And is it just for men and women, or is it for
men and women, everyone?
Okay.
Yes. So it starts in the middle of July, 14th of July. That's when the program will officially start. And all the details are on my social media channel. June Reeves everywhere. My name is uniform on all channels: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, IG, everywhere. It's June Reeves. June Reeves. Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much, June. I've really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. All right.